Now, granted, we've had a lot of new neighbors over the last year, so I'm hoping that will change. I really do. But, like, I feel like if I could just even just all the movies and shit, like all the DVDs and Blu-rays, even if it was just that, in the books maybe, I feel like if I could just plop those on some tables in my driveway, have a yard sale, I could get rid of most of them in a day. At least I feel like I could. Maybe I couldn't. Maybe that's the thing. Because it takes way too long. And the fucking thing is, it's not like any of them are priced overly expensive. Like, they're all pretty dirt cheap. And I still get people message me. It's like, can you do any better on the price? It's like, it's $2. Like, fuck off. You know? So, I don't know. That was actually another reason why I wanted to clean out the garage. Because technically, if I set up tables in the garage, they technically can't say I can't have a garage sale. Because I'm then not on any shared property. They basically can't tell us what we can and can't do within the walls of the actual house. Everything outside of the walls of the house is considered community property. But anything inside the 4 main walls of our house, we can do whatever we want. Like, we can renovate, we can paint, we can knock down walls. They can't stop us from doing that. I'm pretty sure someone would complain though anyways, like, one of the neighbors would probably see me sitting in the garage, and people would, like, because again, I'd end up advertising it, right? Hey, we're having a garage sale. So obviously cars would pull up and shit, right? And people would see lots of people walking onto the main property to my house. I'm pretty sure someone would complain. But I still thought about doing it anyways. I remember last summer, we had gone to a cottage, and literally on the Saturday that we came home, one of the neighbors at the far end was actually having a yard sale. I think they were moving. So I think they were trying to get rid of some of their shit before they moved. Yeah, they got in trouble for that. It actually got shut down before it even ended. Like, somebody complained. And again, it wasn't causing any problems whatsoever. it's not like people were parked in the main roadways or anything like that, which is illegal anyways. But not that it stops some of our like, that's the funny thing is, everyone bitches and complains about the most trivial stuff that doesn't fucking hurt anybody on this property. Sometimes they'll complain about, oh, your weeds are too long. Okay, they're my weeds in my fucking backyard. You can't see them. Who fucking cares? Does not affect you in any fucking way, shape, or form. But somebody will complain about that. But that, you know, they'll complain about, like, everything else. But then, like, again, there's signs all along the main roadway that says that you cannot stop or park there. And yet, there's, like, one of our neighbors is parked out there, like, all the fucking time. Nothing gets done about it. It's like, gee. And again, like, I can understand part of the concern. Like, yes, if you're having a yard sale, cars might pull in, they might fucking sit in the roadway or whatever. And yeah, I get it. That could be a problem. But like this, the one yard sale that I was talking about last summer, that the one neighbors had, nobody was parked in the roadway. Nobody was stopped. The cars were all stopping on the main street and then walking up the property, even though they were at the complete opposite side of the property. So people had to walk quite a distance from their cars to get to these people's particular unit. But they still shut it down anyways. And I'm pretty sure I know which neighbors are the ones that bitch about that shit and are like, no. It's stupid too, because they, like, some of them act like this is like some rich neighborhood, which it's not. These units are not big overall. It's pretty middle class, you know. But again, they act like there's some of them that just act like holier than thou. There's actually a Facebook group page for the property that was actually started by one of the neighbors. And again, like I said, you can tell some of them think we live in fucking the Hollywood Hills or something. Nobody's in line at my island. I say, here's the best part. There's 36 units, by the way, on this property. But there's only 29 members in the group. 3 of them live in this damn house. Oh, somebody's in line now. But yeah, here's an example of one. I'm not sure. So here's the downside is I don't know who most of my neighbors are. Like, I couldn't put names to faces. I am a little perplexed by this. So we have our own driveways, but most of the driveways only fit one car. Most of the people that live here probably have 2 vehicles. So a lot of people park in the visitor parking, which is supposed to be for visitors only and not for us. Now, at one of the annual meetings, it was mutually decided that, and everyone agreed that visitor parking is okay to be used by the residents for their second vehicles on a first come first served basis, and that yeah, like on a first come first served basis. And everyone had to understand, though, that that meant that there may not be parking spots available if you do have actual visitors. And that there can't be complaints about that. This was agreed like well over a year ago. So whether the person parked in visitors is a visitor or whether they're someone who lives here, it doesn't matter. But somebody rode on somebody's car, like this was in the winter time, so there was still snow, rode in the snow on the windshield, not a visitor, on somebody's car. So what? If they live here, they're allowed to be parked there anyways. So, obviously this was one of our neighbor's cars. And she posted about it, which is, you know, whatever. It's like, I don't know why they're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I can agree. It's a little weird. It's like, again, it doesn't matter. I get that it's called visitor parking. But, like, I park there. I'm not a visitor, but I park there regularly because my mother-in-law is usually in the driveway. And so, like, putting not a visitor on somebody's car is kind of weird right off the bat. But the reaction to it is what kills me. So she's annoyed about it, which fine, but her thing is somebody's been vandalizing my car. Writing words in snow is not vandalizing your car. If I took some spray paint and painted it on your car, that's vandalizing. Writing in snow is not vandalizing. So, like, it's like, I almost commented on it with, it's like, although I agree that it's stupid that somebody would be writing that on your car, that's hardly vandalism. Now, what's also interesting is, though, she goes, next time be sure to smile, you're on camera. Which means she must have a camera pointing at the visitors parking, which is illegal in Hamilton. Because since it's considered community property. So, okay, so first of all, you have to understand, in Hamilton, under normal circumstances, you can film anything on your property. But you can't film people on the sidewalk. Your security cameras can't be pointed at some... if you have security cameras on your property, which is fine, you can... they can only be showing your property. Anything else is considered an invasion of privacy. It's really weird. It's stupid. So, from my property, I can record only my property. From public space, like a sidewalk or a street, I can only record other public space. So if I'm standing in the middle of the road, I can't take pictures or record your house without consent. And if it's my house and I'm staying there, I can't technically record the cars driving past my house. Nor could I record, obviously, neighbors' houses or anything like that. Right? It's a little confusing, it's weird, but that's the way it is. And this has come up multiple times because security footage has been thrown out in court cases here because the security footage is aimed at somebody else's has somebody else's property in the image, even if the entire thing happens on the property. So, like, for example, a person's house gets broken into. His camera, there is an exception to it. Stuff like Ring video doorbells apparently are fine because they understand that just points generally out. It's not technically directed at anybody. But like security cameras, you can position those. You can angle those just to the right thing. You can make sure that it's not showing anything other than your property. And so let's say I had a security camera like somewhere mounted off the roof of my house or off the whatever, pointing down at my whole front yard. And somebody breaks into my house, and of course the camera sees the guy coming up on my property. Maybe even you can even see him breaking a window. And climbing in. So the camera could see all that and so forth, and I could be like, here you go, officer, here's the footage or whatever. And then they go to court, they get the guy, the blah 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 blah. But because my camera may show even like a fraction of my neighbor's lawn as well, or whatever, lawyers for criminal defendants in those situations have actually gotten the footage thrown out, and like not being able to be used as footage evidence because I, with my security camera footage, violated somebody else's privacy. So you have to be very careful about where you're pointing your camera. So here's the catch. For communal property like this, technically you can't have a security camera outside. Period. Now, the property management theoretically could put one up, but it would only be able to show the land. If it technically showed the front of anyone's house or unit, that would be a violation of their privacy. And they have actually since changed a little bit, and they did say like, oh, okay, you can have one. So again, I could have a security camera out there as long as it's only showing my portion of the communal property. So it would only have to be able to show my front grass and driveway area. As soon as it shows anything beyond that, technically, I'm violating somebody's privacy. So if this lady has a camera pointed at the visitors parking, she is technically violating somebody's privacy. So it'd be very interesting to see how that played out. Now, personally, I don't care. I don't care that she has a camera pointed at visitors. I think there should be security cameras on the property, because there has been a few issues in the past. But nonetheless, I did think it was funny that she used the term vandalize. And the funny thing is somebody else, one of the other neighbors, and I can't, like, because of how much of the picture is shown, I can't make out where this actually is on the property. And the thing is I don't think it is. Like, that's the thing. I don't think it is. Because from what I can tell from the image, this is actually across the street. Which means it's not even part of the communal property. So it looks like it's like one of the neighbors across the street that's not part of this property. Security has the security camera, and it looks like somebody was trying to break into their vehicle. So I don't know if this is that person and they're just in the group even though they don't live here, but they live close enough. I don't know if it's whatever, but this is another case, right? With what I was talking about, because assuming that it is the house that I think it is, I think it's the one right on the corner. Their camera is clearly showing the main road. It's showing part of our property, because I'm pretty sure that's our visitors parking over there, because I'm pretty sure that's the Canada Post mailboxes right there. So and again, personally, I don't care. Like, that doesn't bother me. I could care less about security cameras out there. We live in a world now where it's like you pretty much have to assume somebody's recording you at all times. So but yeah, I don't know. I'd love to, back to what I was saying though, I'd love to do a yard sale. I would have loved to have done a yard sale this week. But somebody would have complained. Thank you for the follow. Do, do, do. So yeah, so what, after today I've got what, 3 days left of vacation? They're coming home tomorrow sometime too. I'm gonna have to buy a new pair of shoes for work before I go back to work too. So some of the other stuff I cleaned up was we used to, when the kids were really young, when we first moved here, they had like a lot of outdoor toys type stuff and so forth, some balls and like old water guns and nets for catching bugs and stuff like that. And we would keep that all outside in just a Rubbermaid container in the corner. And obviously it hasn't been touched in years. My daughter's like 17 now, and my son's 13, and they're not really into that sort of thing anymore. So I went out there and I said to my wife, I said, I should probably get rid of this shit, eh? And she's like, I sent her a text with a picture and I said, I should get rid of this shit, shouldn't I? And she's like, yeah, you probably should. So I go out there and I realize that I have it as followers only chat. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so the kids' toy stuff outside, right? So So anyways, I was like, yeah, I should probably clean that shit up and so forth. So I went out there, and the bin itself actually, I guess, had warped a little bit from sitting outside for so long, and so it wasn't covered anymore completely. So it was full of water from like rain and everything else, and like a lot of the toys had actually gone moldy because they were like plastic toys and so forth. So they had a lot of it had mold and shit on it. So I had to dump the water out. I'm trying to dump the water out without dumping all the toys out of it. But then there was sidewalk chalk in there too. And the sidewalk chalk had partly melted and kind of gone all liquidy. And some of that got everywhere, and it got all over my shoes. And I was like, shit.